Okay, so we got here the absolute earliest they said we could get here, and there's seriously about 5,000 people in front of us. I'm so angry right now.
Please join me in
Oh my
a
God.
warm ATV welcome
Oh
for
my
the
God.
44th President of the United States.
Good morning! It's time for the next adventure. I'm so excited today. I'm headed back to Cali, headed back to Cali. Anyway, yes, today I am headed to San Diego for the National Association of Talent Development Conference. For those of you who don't know, I'm a motivational speaker and a corporate trainer. And so, you know, you got to be where the people are who are trying to make themselves better, be the best at what you want to do, right? And so there's an amazing person I'm going to get to see this weekend, and I'm so excited. I'm here. I just parked at the little parking facility. I literally just missed the shuttle to the airport. So I got to wait for 20 minutes for the next shuttle. Sucks though, because I saw the driver and I even stopped to talk to the driver to be like, yo, you know, and she's like, nah, you gotta go park, you gotta go register your car. And I walked up and she was deucing out. So I'll be here for another 20 minutes. So anyway, I am so excited. The only thing I'm not excited about is, and you know what, I'm going to take full responsibility for this. I'm not going to blame the airlines. I'm not going to do it. American Airlines apparently has this new program, and apparently all the airlines are starting to get it, which basically they're all trying to become Spirit Airlines, which I rode Spirit Airlines once and said I would never, ever, ever do that again. So basically they're giving you the option now to pay for everything like individually. However, it wasn't clear when I bought the ticket that that's what it was. It said, because when I called, because of course I called customer service, when I realized that, oh wait, I can't bring a bag on the plane with me. What? They said, nope, you can't bring a bag on the plane, only like a purse, like something that you can put under a seat. I was like, okay. And so I asked her, I said, well, like, how did I get into this ticket? And she said, well, you bought an economy basic ticket. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? Like, when I think basic, I think main cabin. I fly all the time. Anyway, she said, no, economy basic is our new thing where basically you're just paying for the flight. So you can't bring a bag on with you. Even if you have like a little carry-on suitcase, you got to check it. And you got to pay to check it. And one good thing about calling into customer service, though, if you ever see anything wrong with your ticket, she said, it's a good thing that you called, though, because if you had taken it to the gate, they would charge you extra. Now, that's some, y'all know y'all wrong for that. You know you're wrong for that. So I was a little bit upset about that, because my thing was, I would have rather have just paid everything up front in advance, gotten everything taken care of first, rather than having to pay everything individually. So I get there to check in and they're like, oh, if you want to choose your seats, you're gonna have to pay. If not, the airport is gonna basically choose your seats for you, which basically means, hello, middle seat. We're gonna have a lot of fun traveling across country today. So anyway, I'm gonna make the best of it, because either way, it's gonna be a great weekend. So what, you know? I got to bring more stuff with me in my check bag, I guess. I'm trying to find the silver lining here. So, so I have been waiting to check into my hotel room for about an hour or so, because they didn't have enough rooms ready, because it was a ton of people at the hotel when I got there. So I waited for like an hour, and then I was just so hungry. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to El Pollo Loco. As soon as I get in the car, as soon as I get in my Uber, I get the text message that my room is ready. Oh well, so I'm just gonna go ahead and eat now that I'm here. I'm so excited about this food. Oh, I think they're calling me. It's going down. My favorite meal from El Pollo Loco. See, what you do is you take the tortilla, You break up the chicken, you take the salad and the salsa, and you make tacos with it. And then you got mac and cheese on the side. Man, it's like the best meal ever. It's awesome. Woo, that was a great lunch. Hold on, let me see if I can get that El Pollo. Yep. And you can't see it, you can't see it. Yes. That's where I just had my lunch, honey. It was great. So I'm gonna go back to my hotel. But I saw that there's a Ralph's up here. So Ralph's is a grocery store on the West Coast. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some stuff from my room while I'm out. Save some trips. Hey. Okay, so you should always listen to your first instinct. So I was at the grocery store and I was like, I really want some cereal and like some milk, but I was like, I don't know if my room's gonna have a fridge or not, which is why I wanted to check into my room before going to the store. But that's okay. Anyway, and something said, call and just see. Anyway, I get to the room, I'm looking through everything, and what do we have in here? A refrigerator. Oh well. My muffins will be okay. That's cool. Okay, so it's been a couple of hours and I'm gonna hang out with my friend Nadia. We're gonna go get some margaritas because it's Cinco de Mayo and I haven't seen her in over a year since I moved to the East Coast. So I can't wait. She's about to be here any second. I'm trying out the new, one of my friends told me about this new like fab fitness type look kind of thing. Hold on. It's basically where you wear like fitness clothes, but then you dress it up. Yeah. Oh well. It's where you wear like fitness clothes, but you dress it up. You put like heels on and you dress up, and it's really cute. And so, yeah, it's like you're comfortable, but you're still dressed up. This is my friend Nadia. We are going to go out and look for some margaritas, or we're going to look for something
Cinco de Mayo action.
Some Cinco de Mayo action, yes. She said, do you want to go to a nice restaurant or do you want to go to crazy? I said, let's do crazy.
Let's do a little crazy.
Why not? You know, we're in San Diego for the
Turn it up a little bit.
Turn it up. All right. Woo. Ready. Okay, it's been a crazy morning. I got ready in record time this morning because I made a commitment to myself that I was definitely going to the gym at least twice while I'm here. And so went to the gym, got ready in like 45 minutes. Trying to get like the 8 o'clock shuttle. Missed the shuttle because I was standing in the wrong place. We were all standing in the wrong place, all the people who were waiting for the conference. And now we're going to go get registered. And she tried to be glamorous, you know, the whole week. So we're going to go get registered, and I'm very, very, very excited about everything that's happening. So I finally got everything, went through the registration line, which took forever. Got all my conference materials, which seemed like it took forever, but I got this cool little backpack now that I can run around in. That's pretty cool. So I kind of got here in between sessions, so I'm just gonna wait for the next session, which starts in like 20 minutes. It's kind of a slow day today, so there's not a whole lot of people here yet. All right, whew, I made it back to the room. I was there all day. It's after 6, it's 6:10. Great day, good sessions, had fun, learned a lot. But I am so freaking hungry. So I'm gonna go downstairs and see if I can find something to eat before I eat my fingers because I'm so freaking hungry right now. I didn't get to blog a lot today because well, my phone died almost as soon as I got there. Like, I don't know what happened this morning when I went to the gym. I was listening to music, and I think I just forgot to like plug it back in. So almost as soon as I got there, my phone started dying. So I didn't have it for most of the day. So anywho, but it was a great day. It was a wonderful day, and now I'm hungry. I'm gonna go get something to eat. All right, so the goal was to eat dinner and then to get changed and go for a run along the marina because it's so pretty. It's so pretty out here, and it's even prettier if you keep walking. But by the time I got back, because you know, it was like after 6, and then went to the little restaurant, ate. Now the sun's going down and it's cold, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go for a little walk. You know, I'll just walk for like 10-15 minutes just so I can see it and say that I got some water time. And then I'm gonna go back to my room, and my goal is to go to bed really, really early tonight, because tomorrow is the big day, and I plan to be downstairs early, like I'm talking 6 a.m. I'm gonna be there. They said we can start lining up at 6:30, so 6 a.m. I'm going downstairs to catch the shuttle. Okay, I changed my mind. It's too freaking cold out here. It is getting colder. I was like, oh, it'll warm up as I start walking. No, it's okay. I've seen water before. I'm good. I'm going back to my room. I can't. Yeah, it is cold out here, honey. So I did it. It's 5:45. I made it out. I'm out of my room, dressed, ready to go, ready to get in line at 6 a.m. Yes, holla! I can't wait. I'm so excited. Ooh, the bus is already here. Yes, honey. There it is. Oh my Lord. We thought we were kind of close to the front of the line, at least midway. Oh my God. So, wow. Okay, so we got here the absolute earliest they said we could get here, and there's seriously about 5,000 people in front of us. I'm so angry right now.
I don't know what right up there in Box Office, I'm not sure.
That's about a 6-hour drive?
It's like 4.5.
Oh my God. We're finally getting closer to the front. We've been in line for about an hour now. Oh. I'm so excited.
Wait a second, when did she move to Arizona?
Look at that line back there. Like 10 years. It like went around, swiggle, run around the building. Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, it was like around, and then you just kept walking. You're like, where does this line actually end? Where does this end?
I think they said they were.
I'm excited.
Please join me in a warm AT welcome
Oh
for
my
the
God.
44th President of the United States.
Hello, everybody. This is a feisty crowd for this early in the morning.
Oh my God. All right, everybody, sit down.
Thanks so much for having me. Thank you.
That's right.
Go ahead, Tony. I miss you too.
I think we are going to spend the next hour discussing several topics. We're going to talk about learning, resilience, leadership, trust, and more. So let's get started.
He was able to, after World War II, come back on the GI Bill, and that's how he got his education. Somebody made an investment in him. My grandmother, because at the time, even though she was working on a bomber assembly line during the war, didn't get a GI Bill benefit. One of the changes we made when I was president was to make sure that spouses and family members of our veterans also got.
Amen. Yes.
So she never had a chance to go to college, although she was able to work her way up from the secretarial, living a life of service. And I say to them, worry less about what you want to be, worry more about what you want to do. Because, and what I mean by that is, in politics, but I think this is true in a lot of fields, people are so obsessed with, I want that title. I want to be a congressman, or I want to have the corner office, or I want this title. And they don't spend enough time thinking, what is it that I'm trying to accomplish? And I think I'd fallen into that mindset. It's part of the reason why oftentimes in Washington, people end up becoming congressmen, but they don't know why they want to do it or what they're trying to accomplish. And so they don't have a North Star or a compass to guide their actions and their decisions. And so what I say to young people is, look, what is it that you're passionate about? If you care deeply about the environment, and you think that maybe politics is one way to have an impact, that's great, but spend most of your time working right now on the thing that you care about. If there's a way for you on a local level to influence issues like climate change. There are ways locally for you to make sure that kids get a good education, or that people who are homeless have shelter. And if you're doing those things every day that are actually meaningful to you, then over time, you will find yourself achieving and rising in positions of more and more influence because you've learned to do what you care about really well. And that's true in business as well. When I talk to people like Bill Gates, they didn't set off saying, I want to be a gazillionaire. What they started off is saying, this computer thing's really interesting to me and I want to create some software. I want to create the best software. And their passion in the work then leads them to achieve extraordinary things. And as a byproduct, they end up being gazillionaires. So that was a useful lesson for me. I think it's great to be ambitious, but be ambitious in terms of what you want to accomplish rather than a title. And that, I think, is that was true even once I achieved a pretty big title once I was president. I still was focused on what is it that I'm trying to get done, rather than sort of the external trappings.
Do you find that message resonates with the young people that you're coaching?
Yes. And that's a culture that you have to build inside your organization. And it starts from the top. I am very proud of the fact that from the start of my campaign all the way through the end of my presidency, we consistently were able to take 22-year-olds or 25-year-olds who normally would not have been given a lot of responsibility and gave them enormous responsibility, and they consistently performed. And the reason was because we had set up a structure that was predisposed to the potential and the power of the people we were working with, that said, we're going to give you a lot of responsibility, we're going to hold you accountable for performing, and to create an environment in which it's less important who gets the credit than what gets done, that we expect you to operate effectively as a team, that we don't have a lot of drama, that you're here for the right reasons, that you treat each other with respect, kindness, and generosity. And what we consistently found was that young people responded to that. They felt a sense that they were part of something big because they understood the mission. They didn't feel as if they were just a cog in the machine. We welcomed their ideas, we welcomed their input. We had high expectations of them. People respond when you expect a lot out of them. It's all the important personages who are sitting. You got the generals and the secretaries and this and that. But usually there's an outer ring. And the outer ring is where the people who actually did the work are sitting, right? So they've got all the memos and the briefing books. They're sitting there, thumbing through stuff that they're handing to the principals who then start speaking. And I just made a habit in our meetings, especially if there were hard decisions to be made. I'd start calling on the folks on the outer circle. Even though a lot of times I didn't know their names, but I'd be like, you over there. You look like you got a bunch of stuff you're going through here. What do you think? And they get very nervous. They'd be like, huh? But what that transmitted to them was that they had to be on their toes and be prepared because I wanted to know what they thought. I thought their opinions were important. I was also sending a message to the principals that they should be listening to their staffs and asking for feedback and being open. That kind of culture doesn't mean you're always going to get things right. But what it does mean is that you're in the best position possible to both make good decisions, work the probabilities in your favor, and to learn quickly when you do make a mistake. Which, by the way, and I've been trying to be careful about not editorializing too much. When I get worried about our country or the world, it is not around a particular issue. Any given tax policy, I might have a point of view. A political opponent might have a different point of view. That's okay. That's how democracy is supposed to work. A particular position on some environmental regulation, we can argue about that. I worry when our values are not being upheld. Our democracy, just like any organization, can't work if, for example, we don't insist on facts. Facts.
Come on.
You can't make good decisions if we don't at least agree on the facts. We can all have different opinions, but we have to believe in the same, that this is a table. And so, and I mean this in all seriousness, it is important for us to make sure, regardless of our political proclivities, that the values underlying this great country don't get eroded, because situationally, you know, in this particular circumstance, it's convenient for us to abandon our values to get what we want. That kind of short-term thinking, which, by the way, has happened on both sides of the political aisle on occasion. That kind of short-term thinking, you know, carries grave consequences, because democracy is not something that happens automatically. It is something that has to be nurtured and practiced. And our kids do watch what we do. And so if they see that, you know what, adults aren't honest, or they make excuses, or they try to get out of stuff, or they distort things, or so on and so forth. You know, over time, we'll pay a price for that.
You were one of the youngest presidents in U.S. history. How did you prepare for that?
Well, there is no blueprint or manual for the presidency. And so some of the preparation came about during the course of the 2 years I was running for president, because you are out there all the time. You have to essentially build a startup that went from zero to $1 billion organization with thousands of employees in the stretch of 12 months. You had to make a series of rapid, high-stakes decisions based on imperfect information. You had to market your ideas across a mass audience. You had to learn very quickly to have a thick skin and not watch cable news, which would drive you crazy. And you had to teach your wife and mother-in-law not to watch cable news, because it would drive them crazy. What prepared me best were the principles that I just described, that I think had been cultivated over the course of 30, 40 years. You know, a habit like discipline, right? The ability to focus your attention and stay on a project to its conclusion. That's not something you suddenly learn a week before you're sworn in as President of the United States. Presumably, you've been working on that for a while. The thing about the presidency that is hard is not the specifics of the information. That you can read, consume, you've got experts you can work with. It's the habits of performance that you have cultivated over time. One of the things I brought to bear to the presidency that I found particularly useful was being able to take the long view and not getting too high when things were high or too low when things were low. And I learned that throughout my life as somebody who had some lows and had some really great highs. I didn't buy the hype when my posters were everywhere. And, everybody was like, "Yes, we can," and all that stuff. And I was like, "Well, okay." I think I'm a pretty good guy, but I'm not going to solve every problem on earth immediately. Conversely, when things went bad, because we had this extraordinary economic crisis and people, I think, didn't understand fully the depths of it, and despite us making all the right moves, it was going to take a while to dig ourselves out of this hole. And people were saying, "The guy's a bum." I didn't get too low either. Those are the kinds of things that I think prepared me best. But those are not things you find in a manual. Or to the extent that you find them, your religious faith or literature. The kinds of things that sustain your soul, the things that strengthen you as a person. That's what was most important. And that's why I know this is a conference of people who are training others, who are helping others to try to achieve their best. I suspect that those of you, at the times where it's worked, what you've discovered is that it's usually not just about training somebody to do a particular task. Where you're most effective training somebody else is to get them to tap into their best selves, right? And get them to overcome their insecurities. To get them to be open to new ideas, and to get them to be respectful of the others that they're working with. Those things are most of the time what makes or breaks an organization. Now, you still actually have to know what you're doing. You can have a really nice person, but if they haven't gone to pilot school, you don't want them flying a plane. Right? But usually organizations know how to do that. They know how to transmit the specific skill that's needed. And where organizations don't do as good of a job is in tapping into and helping people develop habits that will make them better performers. We face the challenge that the world is shrinking, and so we've got to learn how to get along with people who don't look like us. And worship God the same way we do. And it makes people uncomfortable when they're thrown together with a bunch of people who don't look exactly like them or have exactly the same experience as they do. Now, the great news is America has a leg up on every other country in the world because we are a nation of immigrants, because we are a hodgepodge of people who came from everywhere. But truthfully, when you start getting economic strains brought about by globalization and technology, that creates stress in people. And when they're stressful, there's a great temptation to say there's an us and a them, as opposed to a we. And so you start getting that a certain tribalism that is dangerous and difficult. And you're seeing that not just here but around the world. And then you have environmental problems like climate change that is a fact, by the way. So we can have a debate about what to do about it, but it is happening. and will put some significant strains on communities around the world that can cause huge problems like migration, you know, much more frequent natural disasters and so forth. Now, having said all that, to paraphrase JFK, there's no problem that man has caused that he can't solve. Primarily by listening to women. JFK didn't say that part, but I've observed that is true. But here's what I do know though is that and I always say this to young people when I'm meeting with them and working with them. If you had to choose any moment in human history in which to be born and you didn't know ahead of time what your position would be, you didn't know whether you were going to be rich or poor, you didn't know what nation you were going to come from, male, female, what race, religion, etc. You were just kind of behind the curtain. It was sort of like a big existential let's make a deal kind of deal. So what's behind door number one? Door number two, what moment in history would you want to be born?
No.
You'd actually want to be born right now. Because there's never been a time in human history where, on average, across the board, there's never been a time where people were healthier, wealthier, where the world was less violent, where it was more tolerant, where it was better educated. And that doesn't detract from the incredible tragedies and cruelty of corruption, just plain mean stuff that is happening day to day. All that's real, and it's heartbreaking, and we have to insist that we can do better than we're doing right now. But the arc, the trajectory of human history has been progress. Things have gotten better. 50 years ago, it would have been unimaginable for me to be sitting here. Addressing that. That's relative. I'm 56 now. I'm 56 years old. And that's a blink of an eye in human history. Think about what's happened in this country just during that period of time. And so that's why I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm optimistic because the trend lines so far are pretty good if you kind of take the long view. But they're not. But I'm cautiously optimistic because that progress is not inevitable. That progress is the result of each of us individually taking responsibility for making things a little bit better. It means that in your organizations, you're taking responsibility to make sure that the people you work with are treating each other with respect. That you are encouraging women's voices to be heard at the meeting. That you are treating the LGBT person with respect and dignity. That you are insisting on continually improving performance and holding accountability, and this is all on your work and then in your communities, that you are making sure that our kids are getting a decent education, and you're taking that upon yourself if you see that they're not, and that we're willing to pay some taxes to support things like public schools and universities so that everybody has an equal opportunity, and that we are good stewards for the environment. If each of us take that responsibility, understanding that not all, we're not no single one of us can solve every problem. If we can have a sense of humor and, you know, be forgiving about our foibles and our flaws, knowing that none of us are perfect, but we all have a responsibility to make the world a better place. And if, as we tell, as I told my daughters, if you're kind and you're useful, you're probably going to live a pretty good life. If all of us are doing our part in that way, yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll be okay. All right? Thank you, everybody.
Oh my God. Amazing. Amazing. Okay.
Is God good?